and your email address.
So on this account, it might be tgross, TGROSS 26 at gmail.com is what I'm suspecting.
And what this does is it activates the generator. They provide us a code, and it also starts up the warranty.
Oh, I
so
see.
they know the generator's being run for the first time.
And they being Generac?
Generac. Right.
Yeah, I see.
Since they're the ones providing the equipment warranty.
Oh, I see. Okay.
tgross26 at gmail.com, correct?
Yeah, so that's the email on my account. Is that what you're asking? I think that's what it is. We should probably go with that. That's pretty good. We're doing that on an iPad. Look at that.
Yeah. There you go. And I can show you how we enter numbers.
Yes.
That way, if in the future you need to do anything similar, you'll know how this keypad works.
Sure.
And we go over all this on Tuesday when we're waiting for the county inspector. So we'll.
Oh, he's coming Tuesday?
Right.
Hi.
Okay,
Hello.
this is my wife,
How are you?
Eleanor.
Yeah.
So, right on Tuesday is the day that you and I discussed about
Okay.
having access into the
Oh, we
house.
didn't have a time yet. We were waiting for them to, because the county controls that time.
Right. We never know what time they'll be here, but I need to be here about an hour before the inspector gets here.
Okay.
And since they could say we'll be there at 8:30, that means
Right.
I could possibly be here as early as 7:30 or 8, or at 8:30. It
Yeah.
just depends on what the county's doing that day.
Okay.
But to use the keypad to put numbers in, you can just scroll up. It gives you a 1. If you need a 0, you scroll backwards.
Okay.
And it's 1, enter, 0. You have to go up and then back. Okay, and then enter, because if you go down, it gives you a 9. But if you go back, it gives you the 0. But we need a 9 in this case, and a 1, another 1.
The enter
And
scrolls it to
that-
the next entry slot.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
It's a military clock, so the time is entered in military time.
What time?
Military.
It's a military.
Oh, military.
clock.
Okay.
Right.
1200.
So here in
Not-
about an hour, it'll say 1300 hours, and it's 12:04. Takes the 12th, is it?
Today's the 12th.
Year. Now you see the year. The default setting for the year is 2013. So you'll see that in some of the events in the history log, because we did not have the time set. Okay. The exerciser in the state of Virginia, we really do not have that many outages. So you want to ensure the generator is exercising weekly to ensure the generator.
This
You know.
is the test, like
Right,
the
it's a-
test run you were talking about, right?
Just a 5-minute test,
Right.
and it also helps keep the battery healthy. You have a car battery inside of this,
Okay.
right there. It's a wet cell battery.
Okay. How often does that have to be
Oh, wow.
changed?
Probably anywhere between every 3 to 6 years,
Okay.
just depending on the maintenance on the battery itself and the climate.
And if if it needs to be changed, is there a warning? Do we get a warning on that, or how do we know?
You do. You'll get a warning on here to inspect the battery.
Okay.
You'll also see a yellow light on the side.
Okay.
It tells you any kind of yellow light indicates a warning.
Something.
And a maintenance
Where,
Pass.
is that where the red light is? Or?
right there.
Okay, so that would be yellow instead of red if something was
You'll
wrong.
see a yellow light to indicate
Okay.
maintenance
Normally it would be
required
what,
or
green or
something. Green.
yeah.
Green
okay.
is the color we're going to shoot for here in
Okay.
just a few seconds.
Okay.
So what I recommend is you always run the generator weekly, especially in the wintertime, because the battery is out here in the cold.
Right.
It is a heavy-duty battery, 625 cold cranking amps. It states it. Oh, excuse me. It's 525 cold cranking amps. Okay, and so you want to make sure that it's getting exercise weekly. That keeps it healthy.
Right.
Okay. In quiet test mode, I recommend you let it run at the regular mode. Okay, that way it ensures that you hear it too often people call me and say my generator's not working and the power is out.
Mm-hmm.
And we walk them through steps, and they come out and look at the history,
Mm-hmm.
and come to find out the generator's been sitting 2 or 3 months.
Oh, and it didn't test
It
run,
wasn't
they didn't
exercising.
know.
So it's
Okay,
best
yeah.
to run
How
it on a
much-
weekly
how
basis.
much do you hear it when it goes on? Is it?
You'll hear it here in a few seconds.
Oh,
It's
okay.
gonna run.
Okay.
The initial startup is an exercise,
Okay.
and you'll hear that when it's open like this, it's pretty loud.
Mm-hmm.
But then we put the covers on,
It's
And-
much
and it gets-
quieter.
quieter.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, I think you should have it so we can hear it. So, just so.
Okay,
You
and
know, it's
select the hour. What is the best day and time to run your exercise? What's a good day to find you home? Not running errands or
Oh, you want us to be home?
yes.
Well, maybe
Preferably. I mean, people have to go on
do it
vacation
at
and they have
night,
different events.
Right? Do it like Thursday night or something. Tuesday, a weeknight,
Yeah, I guess.
because we're usually home then, right?
Yeah. Like what time? 8 p.m.
9 o'clock or something.
Not too late.
8 p.m.
8 p.m. Thursday night.
Thursday. That's what I would do.
All right,
'Cause-
let's do
When I was
that.
talking to those guys, I thought they said they like to do it like Tuesday afternoon, 2 o'clock or something like that.
Well, most people aren't home at 2 o'clock.
But you want us to be home to hear it.
It's not so much what I want you to do is I'm encouraging
But
you
that's
to
the
have it-
recommendation as well.
Right. The recommendation is for you to hear it.
Yeah.
So maybe just a little earlier, maybe 7:30 p.m.
7:30, maybe on Wednesday, because sometimes you're teaching on Thursdays. 7:30 Wednesday.
Yeah.
Does that work? Or 8?
7:30 should be okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
that should be
7:30 on a Wednesday.
Yeah.
On Wednesday. So that's set. Okay.
Good.
And I'm going to go back because I'm going to the sub menu. That's where the edit screen is. It lets you change the language: English, Spanish, French, Portuguese. That's fine. Firmware updates. We can update the firmware here through this USB port. We can also diagnose the generator a little further and read the history.
There's no
Okay.
internet connection here.
No
Okay.
internet connection.
That's probably good.
Exercise time is set for 19:30 Wednesdays weekly. Okay. Oop. That's what I wanted to change, and I skipped it again. I'm just gonna scroll through. There we go. Remove that quiet test mode. Okay. Current date and time. That's correct. Cold smart start. That allows the generator to warm up. The generator decides I need a little more time to warm up. So it may delay the startup by 5 to 10 seconds. Okay.
What's it doing when it's
And,
doing that? What's warming up?
The engine is.
There's a heater in there, a heater block?
No. I misstated that.
running.
It's when
It's just-
when the power goes out, and the generator starts up, it'll delay the transfer of power into the house just
Oh.
a little bit, so that the generator
It'll
kind
start
of
up here,
stabilizes
but
a little better.
not transfer
Right.
power. Got it. Okay.
So you'll be out of power maybe 26 seconds at the very most.
That's pretty amazing.
And the colder it gets, it may delay it as far as 45 seconds.
Because Sean was saying, just to refresh my memory, this will kick in if there was like a 5-second power outage. It detects a 5-second power outage.
No, actually, there's a 6-second delay.
6-second power outage, and then it would kick on,
Right.
and then
it's a 5-minute minimum run time. So it
5
runs for
minutes.
5
So even if the
minutes.
power comes on in 2 minutes, it'll run for a full 5 minutes.
Yes, sir.
Right. Okay. And so it detects a 6-second power outage, and then it'll take what 15 seconds roughly to kick in and supply power to the house.
Transfer power into the house.
That's
Yes,
pretty
sir.
quick. That is really amazing, I
It
think.
is. And well, with this cold smart start on, that setting allows it to warm up to its needs. It knows when,
Right.
okay, I'm ready, I'm coming in.
Okay.
And we'll leave it at yes. Fuel selection is natural gas meter, and the fuel selector is right here. Okay. Some people think, well, I can run
Oh, I see.
propane, but you need very large tanks.
Yeah, LP or natural
Right.
gas.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
German natural gas.
Okay.
Okay.
Looks good.
And back to language. That's pretty much all the editing you can do here. It's
So
very
enter
simple.
is scrolling through the menu items.
Actually, the scrolling is done through the two buttons,
Okay.
and then enter either
Is-
selects it or accepts, one of the
Can I
features.
just do this for a minute?
Sure. Scroll
Okay.
up,
Firmware update. Okay. There
and
it is.
as you want to make a selection, you would press enter.
Right. Okay.
Okay.
Good.
If you
And
press
now-
escape, it takes you back to the menu.
Okay.
And this is the sub menu. It's got a history log. If you press enter while the word is flashing, it accepts it, and you see there's two more selections.
What
The
am I
alarm
doing?
log and a run log. The alarm log is anything that can cause damage to the generator. So the generator has sensors built in throughout the unit so that it can catch any problems and shut down before the actual damage is done.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so if it overheats, low on oil pressure, a battery problem, whatever the issue may be, if it keeps running, it might,
So
sustain some
if I
damage
want
or
to see
shut
alarm
down.
log, I hit enter.
Right.
And
And again, that's the default setting in the clock,
oh, so that's what we're going to see is the 13 because that's the default. Okay.
just for the event when when I first put the battery in.
That'll change.
Okay. And
Okay.
yep. Now you can store up to 50 events, and as you reach number 50, the last event drops out,
Right.
and then the newest event always gets stored as number 1.
And run log, how would I get to
Go
run
ahead and
log?
scroll to it using these arrows there.
Okay.
Press enter.
And it hasn't run yet, so
Hasn't run.
okay.
Press escape,
Yeah.
and then go to maintenance. There you go. Press
I
enter.
see.
And go ahead and look at the run hours on the engine. And it
Nothing.
doesn't have anything. Today
Right.
we'll run it for about 10 minutes,
Okay.
maybe 15, and then Tuesday we'll run it for about an hour.
Okay.
That way, Tuesday you'll be able to go through the house and just turn everything on and
Right.
test the limits of the generator.
Sounds
okay?
good. Okay.
And it has a maintenance log and maintenance schedule in here, which coincides with the manual
Okay.
maintenance schedule.
Super.
Okay?
Okay.
I've already checked the oil. It has oil in
So
it.
let's just do that for a minute. So this is the oil. Can we just
Oil
take this?
dipstick.
Yeah. So let me just.
Here, let me hold it for you.
Yeah. I don't want to drip
Hold
it
it
over
out
there.
here, right.
So what do you got
Let me
here?
turn it so you can see the lettering there. It says caution, do not overfill. It's a very small engine.
Yeah.
It runs at a very fast speed,
How many-
3,600 RPM.
Okay. How many quarts is that?
Oil capacity is 1.9 U.S. quarts, just under 2 U.S. quarts.
Okay.
And you really never want to overfill this type of engine because if you overfill it, the excess oil will turn to foam. And since it's running at 3,600 RPM, it'll quickly turn to foam and burn inside the engine, which leads to the sludge and
Yeah.
darkness on the dipstick. And
What grade oil is that?
5W30 synthetic oil is what's recommended.
Synthetic.
Right
okay.
now it has a 5W20 synthetic break-in oil. It's a factory oil. It's just a break-in oil. And after the first 30 hours of runtime, I believe, we'll double-check the manual, 25 to 30 hours of runtime, you'll want to call and schedule the first oil change.
So if we don't have any power outages,
And you don't need the oil.
The generator is running only 5 minutes a week, so it
it'd be a
basically
long
takes
time.
20 weeks before it kicks up 1 hour.
yeah.
And so it'll take you forever. So the next thing is either 30 hours of runtime or 6 months.
6 months.
At
okay.
6 months is good to call us, get us out here, double check everything.
So just make a mental note sometime in May or June.
Mhm.
Yeah. Okay.
Right, and you will always want to check the oil after the generator has run. The weak points for oil leaks is down here where all these circulating hoses are, and there's cooling fins there. You can add the oil right there.
Okay, and there's the oil filter.
Oil filter
So how do you change the oil? Where do you drain it?
right here. If you switch places with me, there you go. You can see it in your phone.
Yeah, so how do you drain that? I mean,
Okay. Well, you basically loosen up that bread tie,
oh, and then bring
set
it down,
in a pan,
and it drains out.
open up the hose.
I see, okay. Okay,
Okay.
all right.
And the battery is an interstate battery. It's a wet cell battery. It does require maintenance. You have to check the fluid levels, top them off, check the electrolytes.
And that's just water, right? I mean, that's just a water.
Right. It's usually a filtered water.
Yeah.
But the
So
our maintenance program includes checking the battery.
okay.
Now, the warranty for the equipment is only for the Generac equipment. It does not cover the battery. The battery has its own 6-month manufacturer warranty for manufacturer defects. Okay, so within 6 months, if anything goes wrong with the battery, we'll replace it.
So how do you get that battery out of here with this piece right here?
It's a little trick there.
Yeah, how do you get that out?
You just get your hand in there, grab the lifting.
And it does fit through there. It does
Kind of
fit.
lift
Okay.
it up out of that indentation.
Right.
And
Okay.
then turn it so it can slide past the bolt here and everything else.
Okay.
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 It can
fine.
only come so far. The cables here are, not that long. So it's set right here, and you have to work on it right here, unless you disconnect everything. This cover for the battery positive post should always be on. Should never work on this without some protection for the battery post.
Yeah.
For the positive post. I'm sorry.
Absolutely.
And again, we'll cover it in more detail on Tuesday. This is the heat insulation. It also works as helps to keep the noise in the unit.
Right.
Okay, and helps with the airflow. It's an air-cooled generator too, so there's no antifreeze in it, but it requires a lot of good fresh air to keep it cool. You never want to put bushes or plants here.
Anywhere near.
Right. In the future, because you have a flexible gas hose in the back and this flexible line, these absorb the vibrations of the engine, and you just want to be very careful with weed whackers in this area.
Okay. Yeah. You don't want to hit the gas.
One of the recommendations I've made before is if you're changing your landscaping to accommodate the generator, don't use grass or mulch. Go with a dry ground cover like gravel or river stones, pavers, just something dry. It minimizes the maintenance around it, and you're more
Less
likely to
chance
protect
of
this equipment.
Something. Yeah.
Okay.
You should tell Miguel's people.
Yeah. I actually threw grass seed down here the other day. Maybe I shouldn't have done that.
Yeah, mulch and grass clippings will find their way into the generator, and I'll show you that.
Well,
in a
if
second.
it takes root, I can just spray it. It's not a problem.
These are the breakers. The top one, this 15 amp breaker, is for this GFCI. If you wish to let a neighbor plug in a refrigerator, they can do that with a very long extension cord.
Oh, that's where they would plug it in.
Right, it's just like the receptacle where you put your blow dryer in.
Right.
You have to reset it to work on generator. It only works when it's on generator power, okay?
Okay.
But you have a whole house generator, so all the receptacles outdoor will be
Should work
working.
too.
Yep.
And we've got them on each side
So
of the
we'll have
house.
it in the on position all the time. Keep this in the on position all the time.
What are those two?
Okay. This is the breaker for this GFCI. It's the
Okay.
only thing that's on this breaker. This 100 amp breaker is the capacity of your generator. Okay. You have a 400 amp service. You have two 200 amp panels downstairs against 100. But that's okay. No one ever uses the full capacity of their panels at any
Right.
given time.
Right.
I can put my testers on the wires over there, and we'll see. You probably are running very conservatively in your home as far as electrical power.
Right.
You don't have much
Yeah,
going on.
yeah.
I haven't heard these guys running, so
Yeah.
things are light right now.
And I'm still a little confused. The 100 breaker is for each panel, you're saying?
No,
or
sir.
It's for one panel. What's
That's
that?
all the power available for both of the panels.
For both panels? 100 amps?
100 amps.
Okay.
So that's why the load shedding was required.
Right. So
The
if that
monitor-
if that pops, why would it pop?
If it's there for overcurrent protection, but the likelihood of it popping is almost next to nothing because the generator should shut down before it pops.
Yeah.
Okay? If the
Okay.
generator senses that it's getting overloaded, it will shut down.
Because the load shedding we did was the hot tub goes first. That goes off first, and I think I have it written down inside. I think oven was second. Third was the dryer, and fourth was the air conditioning unit downstairs. We wanted the one upstairs to run because that's where the heat would be. So I think that was the load shedding. We should never reach there really because the hot tub alone should be enough.
We're going to test all that on Tuesday, okay?
Okay.
And today's just getting it up and running, making sure it's healthy. And so I've got the breaker in the on position so I can test it right here. And the first startup will be kind of like a test. So if you can help me,
Okay.
I'll let you do the button pushing.
All right.
You want to come here and one of you step up and
I'll let her do it. I'm taking the pictures.
What
Just
am I supposed to
watch
do?
this little stepper motor. It's gonna trigger that little stepper motor to
What's
work.
a stepper motor?
Right there.
What
It's
is
kind of
that?
like the ignition.
Okay.
Okay, and it's gonna vibrate hard
Right.
and then start to crank. You'll see everything it does right here on the screen. So just read the screen.
Okay.
Don't be afraid of it. Okay. And you'll see how it vibrates, and that's why we need the flex hoses on the back. Go ahead and press manual start. The blue
Manual?
button.
It's not too bad. Over your hertz.
That's the voltages. Everything's good. Okay. Same reading.